see, for reading these Sanskrit shalokas, they are like mantras. It is necessary that you break it into two and read it like that. So hear me first and then you can follow. Second time I'll give it. Savastho jagrat avasthayam suptavaddayo vatisthate Vishvaso shvasahinascha Nishchitam mukta eva saha. Now, please. Swastho jagrat avasthayam
Suptavaddayo vatisthate
Suptavaddayo vatisthate
Suptavaddayo vatisthate
Vishvaso shvasahinascha
Vishvaso shvasahinascha
Nishchitam mukta eva saha.
Nishtita mukta eva sa.
She stays like one asleep but remains wakeful. Sitting there without a breath, in or out, in this state, she is truly free.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. There's a line in the Yoga Sutra, in the second chapter. It says, it defines pranayama, breath practice, and it says, Shvasa Prashvasaya Gati Vicheda Pranayama. Do you want to know what pranayama is? It's stopping the breath from coming in and out. Okay? And then, what's that mean? It means this. You can also do that from the outside or from the inside. Okay? From the outside, if you want to achieve pranayama, to control the breath. You can do all these practices like when you do the 3-4 time with your asana, or the 4-4 time with your asana, or the 5-4 time with your asana. But it means taking fewer breaths fewer heartbeats per breath. You can slow down the asana and slow down your heartbeat. And then you gain more prana builds up. And then there are kumbhakas, there are practices to rechaka, holding your breath after an exhale, holding it after an inhale. These are very, very subtle and they're very, very dangerous. In Tibet, they don't allow you to practice them without a teacher sitting next to you, okay? That's very serious, because you can really mess up your channels. So, everybody says that, and then all the students go out and buy a book about it, and they do it anyway. So, don't do that. No, really, just set yourself back a long, long time. You have to do it with a very nice, pure, holy teacher helping you directly, okay? Those things were never meant to be done from books or things like that. And you just shouldn't even try it. You'll hurt yourself. But anyway, these are ways to stop the breath from the outside. If you gain greater kindness, if you start really taking care of others, if you start really recognizing that all of us are in pain, everyone around you is in pain, if you really, really start to notice that, pay attention to it, then huge amounts of prana are moving into the central channel. And there'll come a time, you'll be in a library or you'll be like somewhere and sitting, and then you just notice that you haven't breathed for 3 or 4 minutes. You see? Your breath just tapers off and it just stops. And that's a sign that the wind is moving into the central channel. You see? It's a very good sign. And usually then within a few weeks or months, you'll have some extraordinary spiritual experiences of ultimate reality, based on the fact that your winds are in the right place. Your prana is in the right place now. So again, there are these outer and inner methods. Asana is a way to get the winds loosened up, banging on the pipes from the outside. Okay? And then kindness. Just taking care of other people, very bluntly. Just taking care of other people. Be in that state of mind. It could be a cup of coffee. It could be your salary for 3 years. It could be to help a person across the street. It could be to save a person's life. It doesn't matter. But some kind of kindness on the inside, then prana is just forced into the central channel. And a sign will come to you. Gati vicheda. The breath will stop. And you'll see that. It's very beautiful. That's a what do you call it? I lost a lot of words in 3-year retreat. That's a precursor or preview of the body changing. You don't need to breathe after the body changes. You don't need to eat anymore. Okay? So it's a very beautiful state. You'll know that you're close when just spontaneously the breath starts to stop. And all these practices of kumbhaka, the capsule, forcing the breath to stop, are like gentle. They're supposed to be gentle, okay? Only for one heartbeat, for maybe months after months, holding the breath for just one heartbeat. That's meant to slowly and gently introduce the idea to your central channel, okay? Okay, next one. Oh, and that wakens Kundalini, and that's the Shi. And Kundalini is when your central channel is open, and prana is just zooming up and down the central channel. Okay. You gonna miss them? You do this. You want to do this one? Yeah, like you do this one. You do one. I'll do one.
Salide, Sandavam,
Saindavam,
Yadvat,
Yadvat, Samyam,
Bhajati,
Bhajati,
Yogata,
Yogata,
Tatatma,
Tatatma,
Manasor,
Manasor,
Akyam,
Aikyam,
Samadhi,
Samadir,
Abhidyatat.
Abhidhyate.
Just as salt, when poured into water, becomes then inseparably mixed with it, so does our mind unite as one with its own true nature. We call this samadhi.
Thank you. So this is the verses that start off what we're calling the inner method, which is, instead of working from the outside in, we work from the inside out to affect our channels and our reality, our world around us, right? So we do this inner method by going into deep states of meditation. But I must say that you can only learn how to go into deep states of meditation when your mind and body has been purified enough, and your mind is clear enough to be able to sit there in some kind of a stillness. And that only comes from things like doing asanas. So they work really well together. Most people need to do asanas, unless you're really extremely lucky from your past life karma. You need the asana practice to be able to meditate well. You know? So the next 3 verses are talking about samadhi, which we said before was a synonym for Raja Yoga or for ultimate reality. And it says here, it's a really beautiful analogy that is found often in the Indian scriptures of salt being poured into water and then dissolving and becoming mixed inseparably with it. You know, that's the state of our mind. When we get to a deep enough state of meditation that we can focus on a single object. And when you're really focused on an object, you're not thinking about yourself, because that would be object number 2. You know, like you would be thinking about 2 objects, sort of toggling between the 2. And if you're really in a deep state of meditative concentration, there's only 1 object. And the mind is totally immersed in it. And so that's the first definition of samadhi, is just a state of deep meditation where the mind is so focused on an object that it can't tell the difference between like itself, you know, the mind, and the object that it's focusing on. But then there's a deeper meaning to the word samadhi, which has a lot to do with the object that you focus on. And when the object that you're focusing on is emptiness, that's when our mind unites with its own true nature, truly, you know. That's when we actually see who we really are, you know. And it's not at all what you think you are. I mean, the conceptions, the preconceptions that we have of ourselves as selves are so ludicrous in a way, you know. And you can only experience that truth in a state of deep meditation, the truth about you. Because you're as empty as this pen. And it's not even just your body. Yes, your body is empty. It could be made of light. But your whole conception of you as a self, it's just a concept, you know? And when you see the emptiness of that directly, when you see the emptiness of me directly, that's when your entire world changes. That's when everything becomes possible to you. I'm going to go on to the next verse and let Geshe-la continue this. Someone has to read.
Yada Sankshiyate Prano Manasham Cha Pralyate Tada Samarasatvam Cha Samadhir Abhidyate. When the inner winds are at rest and the mind is drawn in, there then comes a state of balance. And this is also known as samadhi.
Back to the pen thing. Okay. In between doing the asanas and the pranayamas and changing the body into light, the fact that prana comes into the central channel triggers a direct perception of emptiness. And I'm trying to, if that happens to you, you're enabled to change into an angel, a body of clear light. Okay? That enables you to do that. So it's important to try, right? to do it, you need two things. Well, thousands of things, but one, you need very deep, perfect capacity for meditation. And you cannot get that without meditating an hour a day. You cannot. If you never want to help others, if you never want to change into light, if you don't want to see ultimate reality, there's a very simple method. Don't meditate every day. Okay? No. And you'll just be disqualified. I had one holy lama told me, they said, you'll miss the milkman. You won't be there when they, you gotta be down on the seat to be there if the milkman comes. You see what I mean? And there's just no other way. And I hate, people come to me, I'm sorry I couldn't do my meditation. It's not for me. You know what I mean? It's like saying I didn't breathe, I'm so sorry I didn't breathe, And I'm like, well, if you don't want to breathe, that's your thing, I'm sorry and I'm concerned, but I can't do it for you. You just suck out, it's life. You need to live, right? You don't go apologizing to someone that you didn't breathe. And it's the same with meditation. You cannot get the winds into the central channel if you don't meditate for an hour a day. You'll never see this thing directly. I'm going to give you a taste of what it feels like, and then you have to work on it, okay? And before I show it to you, there's a vow in Tibet not to show it to people until you tell them about living ethically, okay? It's very interesting. There's a vow, a bodhisattva vow. I cannot explain to you the real meditation on this thing unless I first give you a talk about living an ethical life, you see? And it's very profound. This doesn't help without living an ethical life. And if you don't live an ethical life, you won't be able to see this. And if someone teaches it to you and you're not trying to help others or serve others, you can get misunderstandings and it can make you nutty. You see, so in Tibet it's a very serious thing that first you have to talk about ethics, life, living well, good life, you see. And so I threw that in at the end of the talk, but I guess I have to do it first. So page, then we'll go back, okay?
15, 16?
I'm going to do page 16, okay? That's an honor. Who gets the honor? It's a high honor, right? Who's up?
It's my birthday.
Up to you. Up to you. Oh. It is play. Yeah. That's the ethical. Yeah.
Ahimsa satyam ashteyam.
Ahimsa satyam asteyam.
Brahmacharya kshama dhirti.
Brahmacharya kshama dhirti.
Dayar javam mitahara.
Daya javam mitahara.
Saucham chaiva yama dasha.
Shaucham chaiva yama dasha.
These 10 are the vows spoken by the great and wise in the ancient commentaries on the art of yoga. Never harming a living thing, speaking only what is true, never stealing from another, sexual purity, refraining from being angry or upset, being dependable, love, being trustworthy, using food and such in moderation, and being clean.
I mean, pretty much they're the same in every religion, right? Gandhiji said, "I have nothing new to teach you," right? It's all as old as the hills. He said that. I was thinking about it today, why did I resist as a Christian the Ten Commandments, And why did they seem so old and irrelevant and boring, And I think it's because they didn't teach me the connection between that and my reality. You see? They didn't go into that. They didn't tell me that if you hurt other people, then you will live in a violent world. You see? If you steal from other people, you'll just always need things. You'll never have enough things. If you lie, people will always be lying. You'll live in a world where everyone is corrupt. You see? If you engage in adultery or other sexual misconduct, then you'll never have a beautiful, sweet partner that you want to have. You see? They never really, and they didn't explain it to me. You see, karma is how stored. Karma, how is it stored? And if you explain that, then I think these are really cool. These are the yama, right? The guidelines for ethical life. How is karma stored? And until you get that straight, I think you'll never honor the laws of karma. You see? Karma is stored. If I'm going to give a pen to Christina, the way it happens is this. Your mind is recording images at the rate of 65% finger snap. This was counted by the ancient cities, Your mind is recording, stills. 65 stills a finger snap. Record 65, record 65, record 65, record 65, record 65. I intend that you benefit from this. I left my hand. It's yours. 65 times those 4 or 5 seconds, right? And then those seeds are planted. Karma. Your mind is like a, can I have it? Then you have to ask. The word in Tibetan for stealing is majinlen, to take without asking. Anyway, the mind is this extraordinarily sensitive film. The mind records everything. And what's frightening is it doesn't matter at all if anyone else sees you. You see? It doesn't matter if you do a bad deed in secret or whether you do it on TV. You see what I mean? Because the recording device is up here. Karma is ruthless. Karma is unforgiving. Karma is like gravity. If you let go of the pen, it will drop. And that's just gravity. You see? If you hurt someone, you must get back hurt. Much more. Must. There's no exceptions. Nobody can cut you some slack. Karma doesn't cut slack. There's no divine intervention. There's no such thing. You got to take care of it yourself. If you hurt other people, if you don't take care of other people, no one's going to take care of you. If you take care of others, you must be happy. You don't have a choice. People ask me, you feel guilty after doing this for a while. People put you up in a penthouse in Central Park, East, and they run out and get you strawberries in the morning, fresh strawberries, and then people are giving you envelopes with $1,000 in it, and you're surrounded all day by sweet, wonderful, holy beings, and everything you hear, you have sweet teachers, just too many to even buy flowers for, and you feel like a pig, we call it a dharma hog. You feel like, you feel guilty almost, but that's just the way it works, you see. Your mind is recording. The more sweet things you do for people, the more the world will be sweet. What Christy was saying about the channels is very profound. The sun and the moon themselves are created by your 2 channels. The sun exists because of this channel. You see? If you could somehow cut this channel out of your body, there would not be a sun. How do you call it? The pattern of the roads in New York City, in Manhattan, is a reflection of your own channels. If you live in Manhattan, the West Side Highway is a direct reflection of your Pingala. Okay? I'm not kidding. Get used to this idea. Get used to it. Tat sanidao vairatyaga. Tat sanidao vairatyaga. Ahimsa pratishtayam. If you can keep up not hurting other people. Tat sanidao. In your presence and not in other people's presence. Vairatyaga. There will be no violence in your world. You see? It's very profound. The FDR was what? Yeah, it's your ida. Okay? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It's very profound. Start thinking like that. It's very profound. The reason the sun comes up in the morning, the reason the moon goes through phases, there are 16 areas in your central channel, Sushumna, and the moon goes through its phases. The connection between a woman's menstrual cycle and the moon is direct. It's not that the moon's creating the cycle. The cycle's creating the moon. It's very profound. And that's why your world can become a paradise. And that's why you can jiva mukti. It's so beautiful. It's profound, you see. So you're working on the planets when you do a spinal twist. I'm not kidding. It's very profound. But the spinal twist won't work unless you have good karma, you see. That's at the middle of the onion. And then the great rishis, the great wise men and women of history, they said, look, you don't need a long list. You people are too stupid, actually, for a long list. You won't remember. So every great guru teaches that, okay, 5 yamas, 10 yamas. You know, that's enough for you guys. These are the big things to watch out for. There's 84,000 variations on these in Scripture. But, okay, look, you can keep your mind on 10, right? 10, you can watch 10, right? First one, don't hurt other people and creatures. Just don't hurt them. Easy. Second one, don't lie. Okay? Lying, by the way, is to create a false impression in another person's mind. We do it every time we open our mouths. It's so difficult to tell the truth. It's so rare. It's really, really hard. Okay? Third one, don't steal from anybody else. I see the stealing happens. You're not going to go, someone's going to sneak out and go through somebody's pants and steal their wallet. Probably it's been done, but that's not going to be how you're going to steal. You're going to use the phone at work when you know the boss doesn't want you to use the phone. You're going to be at your friend's house and leave the dishes for them to wash. You see? You're going to go into a public toilet at Starbucks and make a mess and leave it for somebody. This is stealing. Somebody has to pay to clean. Somebody's lifetime, which is more precious than money, is going to have to be spent to clean the dishes that you didn't wash. You see what I mean? There's so many ways to steal. It's not just money. You steal people's life. The hours of their life is so short. That's stealing. Without their permission, you know, they didn't offer it to you. You took it. Okay? That's stealing. Sexual purity, the main thing is respect other people's relationships. If you see that someone is in a committed relationship with another person, then honor it. You know? Like, even if you really like that other person, and they like you, you know, but they've already made a commitment to somebody, you have to honor it, okay? Like, your immediate desires are not more important than the commitment they've made. And you have to honor it, you see? So this whole thing of this romantic thing on TV, you know, the lady fell in love with the married man and they lived happily ever after. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. It's just unspeakable pain for all the people involved. You know, if children are involved and like that, it's just incredible pain. And all you really want is 10 minutes in bed with the other person, you know? And maybe you get it 4 or 5 times and then you drop it. And then count unspeakable harm to other people's families and children. So in the old days, you know, respect other people's relationships as a sacred thing, you know. Ultimately, a yogi who has a partner they view each other as devis, divine beings. And for you to interrupt that or to break that holy, sacred relationship is a very bad karma, okay? And if you do the opposite, you'll get the high school cheerleader. Okay? Okay. I always wondered when I was in high school. It took a long time. Okay. Refraining from being angry or upset. We split it into two words because angry is normally at other people and upset is usually about traffic. And they both are the object of this one. Okay? So it's trying not to be upset. I'll give you an advertisement. Next weekend, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, we're going to go over in Manhattan a very beautiful ancient text by Master Shantideva, who lived 13 centuries ago. It's a whole teaching on how not to get upset. And it's a whole teaching on how to properly react to violence when people do violence to you. So that's just free. It's at a public school. I don't know where it is. You can ask people. You know, you can figure it out. And it's very beautiful. We're going to do it from the Sanskrit. So there'll be a Sanskrit there also. By the way, Sanskrit is, those of you who took the Yoga Sutra, I have these advertisements for Sanskrit, okay? This is the first Dalai Lama said these. This is not me. In his commentary on the Abhidharma Kosha, he said, first of all, it's important to study Sanskrit so you can impress other people. Okay? And he made a joke. He said, a Tibetan writes a scripture, nobody wants to read it. But if you say you got it from India, if it's in Sanskrit, and you can spout some Sanskrit, then you can impress people, but in a good way, okay? I mean, people will know that what you say is authentic if you can quote the ancient scriptures clearly and properly, authentically, okay? That's important. Secondly, in Tibet it was a custom to learn Sanskrit to honor the ancient lamas who translated things and brought them to Tibet. It was considered, I don't know how to say, an act of kindness or gratitude for their efforts, because many of them died. Maybe 10 out of 15 died on the trip. Okay, so that was one custom in Tibet. But I think the more important one that the first Dalai Lama mentions is that when you get enlightened, you will speak in Sanskrit. All enlightened beings speak in Sanskrit. And then everybody hears their own language. And that's like, I always, when you hear about people speaking in tongues in Christianity or in the Acts of the Apostles, just after Jesus was killed and then the apostles in great bravery, they went back to Galilee. They were afraid that they would get killed. Then he appears to them in Galilee and says, go back to Jerusalem. And they're like, well, wait a minute. You know, he sends them back to Jerusalem. And then they go there, and then immediately they start speaking in tongues. You see? They're sitting around at dinner with Jews from 15 different countries, and they're all speaking Egyptian or Greek or other languages that they don't know. You see? And we would say, you speak in the mother tongue. The mother tongue is Sanskrit. And then everybody hears their own language. You see? So when you get enlightened, you'll be doing that. The last thing is that the inner body, the very shape of the chakras, the shape of the channels specifically as they come off the navel chakra, these are the shapes of the Sanskrit letters. Okay? Sanskrit was designed, the alphabet was written out by yogis who could see the shapes of these letters in their channels. The channels are 3 levels coming off of the navel chakra. They twist in the shape of the Sanskrit letters. And the sounds of Sanskrit sing in your body all the time. It's very cool. Your body is singing Sanskrit all the time. And if you could learn it, you could hear it all the time. Om is going through your body all the time. And all the sounds of the Sanskrit alphabet are passing through your body all the time. Then lastly, the cool thing about Sanskrit is your language, English, is just a very corrupt Sanskrit. No, really. Really, if you study, I've taught my students, I can pick up the New York Times, I can take any article, and I can convert it, I can show you how each word came from the mother tongue. English is just a very corrupt Sanskrit. You know, if you were a great Sanskritist, and you never heard English before, and you knew how words change, you could sit and listen to somebody speak English, and you could hear the Sanskrit, and you know what they're saying. It's so cool. It's more obvious in India. We were writing notes to caretaker who didn't understand a word of English, and we're writing them in Sanskrit. You know, could you bring toothpaste? And you know, and then she understood because Marathi is not so far, right? And then English is just a step further. Your mother tongue, the tongue you speak all day long to each other, is just a very corrupt Sanskrit. So it's in you, it's singing in you. So it's really cool to learn it, you know? You don't have to be a great scholar. Learn a few words at a time, and it will sing in you. And sing along with Lady Ruth when she does her chants, and enjoy. It's one of the great things about Jiva Mukti. It's really beautiful. We got tapes in retreat. We listened to them for hours. It's really cool. Anyway, where was I? Being dependable. Okay, that just means people count on you. Dirty means steadfast. People count on you to do things, and I think in the modern world, yogis and people who meditate and people who do Buddhism, they tend to be undependable. And that's a bad rap, and we should change it, you know? They should say, oh, Geshe Michael said he'd do that. I don't have to worry about it. He'll do it, you know? I know he'll do it. Why? He said he'd do it. Okay? Love doesn't need a commentary. Just hugging other people is a big deal, okay? And love it. We're all suffering. We're all about to die. If we don't pull it off, we're all going to die. We're like all these people on a boat that's about to sink. We're on the Titanic. You saw the movie, right? And it's up like that. So what's to worry about the movie or the food or what somebody said to you 5 minutes ago? The boat's already like this, you know. What's his name? That guy. It's back on the back. What's his real name? Leonardo's up on the back already. It's time to stop. There's no reason not to love each other. We're all going under, you know, and you get this like sweet feeling. Everybody around you. I got out of retreat. 2 or 3 of my students are gone. They're dead. Then I'm thinking all the stuff. Why didn't I hug them, you know? Why didn't I say something nice to them, you know? Why didn't we take care of each other, you know? Now they're gone. I can't do it. Time's gone. So, you know, everybody's with Leonardo on the boat. And be nice to each other, okay? Trustworthy is the same thing. Sounds like Boy Scouts. And using food and such in moderation. And that's just be sensible. Mitahara is a big deal in the yoga scriptures, okay? And Americans, everywhere I go, they say, oh, Geshe Michael, you got skinny. You're all skinny. You know, they say, no, I'm what I'm supposed to be and you're too fat. You know? I mean, I don't say that, but I guess I did say that. But no, I mean, the body was meant to be light and strong and healthy. And Americans, we don't even have the word gluttony. It used to be a cardinal sin in the old days. It used to be on the list of really bad things to do. And we are so sophisticated that we've abolished the idea of gluttony. We just do it all the time, you know? And it's like unbelievable. And it's not like you're this evil man who's stuffing food down his mouth. It's like you stop and have a biscotti for $2 when Africa is dying, you see? And that's gluttony, so get used to it, you know what I mean? And you don't need the biscotti, you see what I mean? People are starving. Take the money, put aside a little money, save it for other people, you know? That's gluttony. We're gluttons. And you don't need to eat so much. We don't need it. It's unhealthy. Eating kills more people in this country than any other disease. Okay? Anyway, that's Mitahara. Being clean is, there's one level that if the place we did dance, we learned dance with this beautiful dance teacher, Zeba Cohen. And she would walk into the studio and she'd say, no dance today. Why? There's a pencil on the ground over there. There's a chair over there. You know, you guys didn't sweep the floor. And she would leave. You know, and she'd say, the place is a reflection of your mind, right? The place has to be beautiful, clean, nice, sweet. You know, and the place you live should be like that. every possession you have is taking up a certain amount of your mind space. And that's preventing you from having great ideas. You see? The mind only has so many gigs. Really. And then where is your other pair of shoes right now? You see, that part of my mind is free. I don't have another pair of shoes. You know? No, or I do. Yeah, I do. No, I have one other pair. No, I don't have three anyway. But see, it takes up a certain amount of your mind. Your mind is limited. There's limited time. There's limited capacity. Your place has to be clean in the sense of get rid of the possessions you're not using. If you haven't used them in 6 weeks or 6 days, throw them out. Just throw them out. Just throw them out. It's a war, and you have to declare a war on these things that are attacking your house. No, I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And you just say no. You know, you just say no. And you have to fight back. Like, okay, you'll go back tomorrow. You'll throw out like 10 things, right? You'll say, okay, Geshe Michael said to throw some stuff out. And then suddenly you need this thing, right? That you didn't use for 6 months. If you haven't used it in like 6 weeks, throw it out. Just throw it out. I'm not talking about books, okay? I'm not talking about holy books. No, anything that contributes to your spiritual life, you keep. But everything, you know, most of it's not. So you take it and you throw it out. And then your room gets clean, and then your mind gets clean, you see? And then your mind is freed up.
Then you can go shopping.
Yeah. You can make more money and then go shopping. Yeah. Okay. I want to finish on time. Is that okay? Do you want to do something? No. Okay, I have a suggestion.
You have to talk about the pen again.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the pen one more time. How does this connect to these 10 yama? Okay? Is it 10? I don't know. It's different in different scriptures. But how does this pen, what's the relationship between this pen and that? Okay? This is very simple. Oh, I promised you a meditation. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Is this a pen? Yeah. She said to who? To you guys. Is that a pen? You say yes. Okay. And then, is this a pen to a dog? No. What is it to a dog? Something to chew on. Something to chew on. Okay? So I want to practice. We did this at the Yoga Sutra. I'm sorry if you were there. By the way, in Tibet, they say 3,000. They say 3,000. What do you mean? 3,000 hours. Then you'll get it. Okay? I'm not kidding. You know, you understand it the first hour, but it takes 3,000 hours to get it into the mind. Okay? Yeah?
If we are perceiving the dog, and we have no idea what the dog is perceiving from its outside, then if we agree that it's a pen to us, how can we say what it is to the dog if we're not seeing it from the dog's side?
No, right. I mean, I'm just saying in the theoretical case that the dog is really what they appear to be. And we never know. We never know. You can't know that. Okay? We agree. Okay. We're going to do this emptiness meditation. Okay? Very simple. But use it, okay? Use it. Look at this thing the way a human would look at it. Now try to look at it the way a dog would look at it. We'll speed it up. Look at it as a human would look at it. Look at it as a dog would look at it. Look at it as a human. How it looks to a human. How it looks to a dog. Take away both of them. Not to a human, not to a dog. Try it again. Not to a human, not to a dog. What's there? And that you have to practice, okay? At home. Okay? No, it's very profound. Why? One day you will see that about yourself. There's the me that I appear to me, and there's the me that I appear to Christy. But if I take away the me as I appear to me, and I take away the me as I appear to Christy, what's left? You see? That's available screen. That's a blank screen, tabula rasa. That's a blank screen. It's just nothing, right? So why do I see myself the way I see myself? You see? Did you take care of other people? Yes. Then you will see yourself as a holy being. Did you take care of other people? Today, up till this moment, 9:59.9, did you take care of other people? Did you consciously, with awareness, purposely take care of somebody else today? And if you haven't, then you will get older and you will die. And the yoga won't help. You can do yoga until what? Arthritis? Until what? They close the studio until what? You can't walk? Everybody lays down for the last time, right? They don't go to yoga class after that. Okay? So, if you do take care of other people, and then you do your yoga, amazing, extraordinary, because this is the way things are. You can be anything, you see? You will become a being who's taking care of every person on countless worlds. And that's why you're attracted to this yoga center. That's why you came to Jivamukti. It's so beautiful, that's why you're here. And for thousands of lifetimes, you have been listening to these teachings. And thousands of lifetimes, your lamas, your teachers, have been helping you. It's not a mistake that you meet somebody. It's not a mistake that you meet a certain teacher. You have had thousands of lifetimes with them. Okay? You have to finish it. I think Christy has one last thing about the best kind of good karma. Okay? Yeah.
What about the 7 power verse?
We're going to go to the last 2 verses, and just because it's so late, I'll just read them quickly. Durlabho Vishayat Yago. It's page 18, I think, and 19. Durlabho Vishayat Yago. Durlabham Tattva Darshanam. Durlabha Sahajavastha. Satguru Karanam Vina. And the next verse, Raja Yogasya Mahatmyam. Kova Janati Tatvatah. Jnanam Mukti Stiti Sitir. Guru Vakyena Labhyate. So the first verse here, both these verses are talking about the importance of a spiritual guide or teacher, guru in our lives. And this is the best karma that we can do, to collect the seeds, to see ultimate reality directly, is to honor our spiritual teachers. The first one talks about what it means not to have a spiritual guide in your life. And basically, it's near impossible to reach the goals that we were talking about tonight without being able to rely on someone higher than yourself that you look up to for guidance. Because in our hearts we are very lazy and we are very we have a very low opinion of ourselves. We don't see ourselves the way that our gurus can see us. We see ourselves in a very small way, and then we need someone higher than us to look at us and see our potential and to see that being of light that we can become. And if you have a guru and you've experienced this, it's a very empowering thing to look into someone's eyes and see what they're seeing that you can become. It's amazing. It's priceless. How do you find this person, this guru, if you don't have one? The karma of getting a guru is to ask for one. To sincerely ask for one to come in your life. And that requires a lot of humility on our part. It requires us to accept the fact that we can't do it all ourselves, which is hard for Americans to, to get their minds around at first. But it's so priceless and invaluable. I can't even tell you how important it is. With a guru, which is the second verse, and I'm going kind of fast because we're trying to end on time here. Swabmarama says, you can accomplish anything that your heart desires, if you put your faith and your trust in your spiritual guides. Wisdom of ultimate reality and freedom from having to live in this mortal body and keep cycling around lifetime after lifetime. Because the guru, as Sharon Pla so aptly read at the beginning of this teaching, the poem that she read, the guru is also empty, they're just the same as this pen. So what happens is, the more that you rely on your spiritual guide, the more amazing and powerful and holy and enlightened this person becomes to you. That's what you end up seeing. But you have to take the leap first. The karma doesn't happen until after you surrender to them and submit yourself to your guru. But once you do take that leap, the results are remarkable, and it makes you very keen on taking leaps in the future, and then it's an upward spiral, Then you realize what's happening, that you're creating this holy being that is in front of you. And then eventually you get to spend every waking moment with this perfect holy guru of yours, you create the causes for it. Right? And they just guide you every step of the way, and you never have to worry about your own spiritual development. You can actually just put yourself in their hands. And it's that state of grace that I think Sharon has often spoken about. That's what I equate it to. Having a guru, you can relax. You still have to make efforts, right? But it's all right. Anyway, so that's the highest karma that we can do. And it works much better if you understand the the pen thing, if you understand that you're actually creating this holy being, then the results will come for you. So every time you take a class here at Jivamukti, or every time you're faced with this situation where you have an instructor, a teacher in front of you, it's this profound opportunity that you have to practice this emptiness thing and see if it really works, see if I'm really right. You know? I mean, maybe you believe me, maybe you half believe me, maybe you don't believe me at all, but the way to find out is just to try it and see. Try it for like 6 months. Say, okay, I'm gonna see if she's right. Every time I go to asana class, I'm going to do some little tiny surrender in my heart to this teacher and see if the teacher starts to change. See if they start to say more amazing things in class that sound like they're really only just for me. You know, the karma is that they start speaking directly to you and nobody else in the room, and you're just kind of like, okay. You know, that's the karma, and that's what happens. That's what happens when you do that. It's proof that this really works, right? So I will leave you with that because it's blessed my life so much, and because it's such a fast method to get to where we're all really going. You know, it's this angel of light, right? Okay, thank you. Do you want to see? Do you want to do a closing prayer? Yeah. How did you like?
In Tibet tradition, and it really comes from India, we give away the good karma at the end, just to say any of these things. To hear one word of these things is extremely powerful karma. So then you choose an object to send the good karma to. You give it away. And the most important place to give it is to the health and long life of our teachers. And ask them to stay in the world, help us, and always be here with us, keep teaching us, don't leave us. And we know it's a lot of trouble, and we know it's not very pleasant sometimes, and we're not very good, and that's why we're students. And please stay and teach us, and stay in our world. We send this karma for that purpose.
Sampa